Hey guys, let's talk Married at First Sight, Season 20, Episode 4. So we start this episode, as I stated, I'm just going to through the couples, um, go through the couples as they appeared on the show. So I'm starting this episode with Michelle and Cameron. So for Michelle and Cameron, she states that, she does take sex seriously. She doesn't, it's not something that she takes lightly. So she wants to get to know him more and get more comfortable before they decide to do that. She says, however, she does like a man that can lead. So she's looking for Cameron to kind of like step up and not necessarily lead in like the physical situation, but like lead and guide their family and the relationship. Um, he admitted that he has issues with communication, so that is going to probably at some point cause some a little bit of troubles in the relationship. And she discussed with him her issues with fibroids and how that may change how they, look at starting a family. And he stated, that his sister was adopted. So, adoption isn't something that's completely off the table for him. Overall, I feel like, or up until that point, I feel like they have a pretty solid connection. I was a little bit worried about whether or not he saw it with her, but I think that he is getting comfortable with Michelle being his wife, and it is a possible fit, maybe. Then we have Adam and Marissa. She mentioned to him that she likes to take 3 hour naps, and he was immediately like, "Oh, I don't like that. That's too long." But um they have a mutual attraction to one another. Um and I think that they are trying. So I can only give it that because I don't really care for Adam all that much because he can be very like pretentious and all of that. However, he does seem like he's open into getting to know Marissa and trying to make it work. So that's good. Then we have Sean and Nikki, child. Sean and Nikki. Sean and Nikki deserve their own video because child. Um he woke up the next morning and he, acknowledged that maybe he needs to calm down and back up a bit. And she was like, yeah, because you were doing a little bit too much, like with the 69 jokes and all of that. So, she confirmed that. However, when she said that during the night, like the first night after the wedding, they were sleeping. They like he reached out and held her hand during the night, and she said she kind of liked that. I was like, okay, Nikki, I can say Nikki is attempting. It's not all there, and we know that she's not attracted to him, but she's trying. She hasn't completely checked out, so that's good. When they got to the honeymoon, they actually shared a kiss. I think, me personally, he said something. I didn't write it down exactly what he said, but he said something. Oh, he was saying something about when they got to the honeymoon, let's get naked. He does too much with the innuendo. Like, chill and dial that back a bit, Sean. Like, a bit. But anyway, um, he like because he makes comments about her body, girl, you fine, la, la, la. Like he needs to bring it all the way down. um they were having a nice discussion, and she at one point he thought that she was going to call him gorgeous, and she's like, I'm not there yet. And then she said, when I saw you, I was like, wow, he's confident. Nikki be cracking me up, y'all. And so she stated that she ended all their relationships and that she's a bit of a neat freak. Um, he was asking her how does she think she's grown from her previous relationships, and she was a bit evasive, and so they kind of butt heads. And um, I kind of find Sean to be a little bit combative. I don't like it. Seems like he got short man syndrome, but that's just my opinion. Then we have um, Courtney and Nick. Courtney, it states that she's not affectionate. He's not handy, and that rubs her the wrong way. And she also says that she's bored with Nick. Um, he actually was, talking about how, he majored in computer science, but, like acting and art like that kind of appealed to him. That's why he likes doing the reality shows. Um, there was absolutely no spark between Courtney and Nick. And um, when the couples met together, um, Courtney stated that she likes Felipe's energy as opposed to her husband's. And she's not really communicating with Nick about any of the problems that she has. She's telling everybody else, though. Then we have Felipe and Tori. I put a red flag. I put a red flag in my notes for, oh, I can't show you. But you see that little red flag right there? I put a little red flag in my notes for Felipe because they're both happy and they're into each other, but he stated that he has a fear of commitment. They discuss their beliefs. She's a Christian, he's an atheist, but they don't judge one another for it. He told her that he has cheated before, and then she asked him about monogamy. He didn't really give a clear answer. However, he stated that he wasn't going to cheat on her, which is where I wrote the red flag because I ain't feeling that, Felipe. And she talked about her dating history and how she's been cheated on before and how, she approaches dating. And then when the couples met together again, Felipe questions Nick's motive because Nick likes reality shows. This is what he does. Then we have Bella Jolie and Mecca. He feels like he's kicking it with his bestie, and I think that's going to be a problem down the line because is she your bestie or is she your wife? And then we have Bella Jolie. She wants them to wear coordinating outfits. He wants to like appear as like this power couple because he was like, we got to shut them down when we meet with the group. And I'm like, shouldn't we be worried about us as a couple? But I digress. It gets a little bit superficial to me. Um, she did open the door to him as far as sexual things. She let him know that, if you want to try something, I'm not going to like push you away. They did start sharing kisses and caresses and all of that. And she said that she's starting to feel feelings. Then we have Devin and Caitlin. She stated that they slept well together. She says she doesn't really like being touchy, but she enjoyed it being with him. She says she's very slow on intimacy. I wrote that I feel like Devin is serious about commitment. He says that he's a giver in relationships. Um, they are kind of opposites because she's a very like, I need my alone time, which I'm like that, so I get it. But do you want to be married or not? And she does need to communicate more so that he can better understand where she's coming from. And then I wrote some other notes when they, how usually on Married at First Sight, after they get married the next day they have brunch with like the families. They didn't do this season. And Adam is banking on there being drama from the couples intermingling. I don't like Adam. But yeah, that was Married at First Sight. episode 4. Be back for episode 5.